game number 2, picks and bans. I'm going to ask you this. I know my answer. Is it time for Fantastique to just give up the Ao Kuang dream?
I mean, I don't think Ao Kuang's bad. I just think they didn't have any pressure. They outdrafted themselves. There wasn't anything they could do in the early game. You talked about them playing scared, and I don't know if it was scared or defensive.
Sure.
Those are both very different, even though it looks the same. It's just like, how are you going to fight against that core with an Ares, a Giannis, and an Ao Kuang? You just lose all of your buffs and a free Gold Fury, and then it just snowballs out of control from there.
I just feel like we were watching 5-on-4 with WorldEdit alt-tabbed in the jungle the entire game.
I mean, you look at the Soul Lane as well, though. Xaliea, just so much pressure onto MoGoW. Found not only a almost 2K gold lead, but a 3-level lead, and then WorldEdit gets even further behind, having all this jungle stripped away. Not really anything they could do here. I think we're going to see just a little bit of a different draft for them.
And, you know, Bipolar Method, you know what? Ao Kuang wants to bother them. Ao Kuang and Susano, the 2 spicy jungle picks, going to be banned out by Bipolar Method. And because of that, we're going to see Trix Tank play on the Freya. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Fantastique banning out Fafnir in front of instead of Freya or Terra, whichever god that is.
Did I say Freya?
No, I said Freya. Maybe you said Freya.
I think I might have said Freya.
It's been a long day,
It's been a long
We're
day.
out here. WorldEdit's out here. Ratatoskr in line. Kind of a rise in jungle pick recently. Provides a lot of mobility across the map with the semi-global, as well as healing in his passive, which is very good for active farming players who are very good at roaming around the map, not really backing too often, want to focus on opening up ganks, and then his teamfight presence with that ultimate, just knocking everyone up in a pretty wide area. Devastating.
And another good character at keeping up the tempo of the game. A lot of characters that are popular right now, Ao Kuang, Freya, Kronos, they're good late, but not so much early. Ratatoskr is able to start everything off real quick and keep the players on those other characters a little bit lagging behind. Bipolar Method, Terra and Anhur, likely to be your long lane, but we'll see if Lawbster picks up the king of the jungle. And then Fenrir will be in the hands of QvoFred. Ratatoskr and Raijin, nice and standard. Final choice for the first half out of Fantastique will be Ares.
A little bit more teamfight presence from Fantastique this time with the Ratatoskr and the Raijin instead of the Ao Kuang, as well as the Giannis. They can take fights if Bipolar Method are looking to get aggressive, which I expect they will. Obviously, Fenrir picked up for QvoFred. He's going to be able to chase the Ratatoskr with Brutalize. Hard matchup for him. Though he does have the Acorn stun, which if you're being brutalized, you should be able to line that up for the guaranteed hit.
I like the Zhang Kui ban out of Fantastique. This is a god that Lawbster really likes to bring in when there's a lot of damage around him. Before, he had to play the Zeus. He's going to be the big damage guy. Terra, Anhur, Fenrir, it's already a lot of damage out there. So with that in mind, Fantastique taking away the flavor pick of Bipolar Method of Zhang Kui.
This time, though, Jing actually getting picked up for Jermain in this matchup. Very good against Anhur, who likes to jump aggressively and set up those knockups into the stun on walls, followed up by the ult. You're going to have that direct counter against someone who wants to box and take you on early.
2 more picks for Bipolar Method. Mid lane will be the Isis, so Anhur now in the hands of Funball. That's kind of scary.
We see this combo come out from Energy a lot, this Fenrir Isis, where
Guan
the jump forward looks for supports primarily. That's what adapting does. I think QvoFred's going to be doing the same thing. Look to ult Ares. Obviously, Ares does have his ult, so he can counter ult, but if he does manage to pick him up, Isis are going to have her ult down, and you just stack all this damage and burst the support, and there's nothing they can do.
Amaterasu for MoGoW one more time. Despite getting bullied to the high heavens last time around, this time
different matchup though. You can silence the Talu Assault, and you basically win this lane, but still gotta work out. But that you still go back to player skill, right? Where that does come into effect. It doesn't matter anything about the matchups if one player is just not playing to their potential or doesn't lane appropriately. And I've seen Amaterasu's lane against Vamanas before. They'll get behind.
Oh, hey. It's a support Guan and Xaliea taking the Terra into the solo lane. So while we sat here last game commending Bipolar Method for getting rid of their jank and embracing the meta, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bipolar Method show. Xaliea going to be showing us something new today.
Saw him do this on stream yesterday, actually. I didn't watch it for very long, and now I regret not watching it for very long. We haven't really seen Terra too much, obviously, just coming out into the meta. We started to see the supports being picked up, or support players picking her up and experimenting with her. We see a lot of combos with her. But in the solo lane, I'm wondering if she's going to have the damage to clear. She did get some buffs right before she was put into the SPL, so I don't know.
We'll keep an eye on it.
She is against an Amaterasu, though, which is one of the reasons they might have just put her in it. Like, they might have originally intended the Guan Yu to go solo, but once you have the Amaterasu who's going to be able to silence out your main source of clear, they're probably like, let's switch this up.
So early game, looking at the start for Terra, teleport, as is pretty standard for solo laners, but starting off with the helmet. So it's going to give her a little bit of early penetration and some power if she does finish that before boots. Blue buff, going to be cleared, no invades.
Also very good, obviously, against physical solo laners, having this item that's going to give you magical power as well as a little bit of penetration and physical defense.
Vamp Shroud, the selection of the Terra starting item. So no Mark of the Vanguard like we see from a lot of the Guardian solos. No Bluestone.
I'm pretty sure he needs this to help him clear. I don't think he has the damage online, but the thing is, Amaterasu doesn't have a lot of heavy clear in the early game, so this will probably be a good matchup for Xaliea.
Man, can you imagine Guardians with Bluestone? It'd be terrible. It'd be just awful.
And look at this, Xaliea, you know, you talked about the Helm, but only going into lane with 2 potions. He's not worried at all. Obviously has the Monolith or Obelisk, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be able to keep him healthy.
A little bit.
And the blue buff. And MoGoW, a little bit worried about fighting into this. This is something he's probably never played against.
Yeah, I think that's what it is more than anything. MoGoW just sitting here like, what do you do?
Well, you saw him boxing her, and he's like, I think that was really just like, can I fight this at level 2?
What do you do?
Is this something I can, you know, take? And he was like, no, it's not. I'm still Amaterasu. I still don't do anything early game.
There's the dash forward. MoGoW gonna get hit with the combo, and that's a lot of damage going to that Amaterasu. So MoGoW stayed out of the radius of the little obelisk beforehand, but immediately gets punished for it.
That's one of the things that's most devastating about Terra in this laning phase is you look at solo laners, and their primary goal is when they use their abilities, they want to hit the other solo laner as well as the wave without taking too much poke from the minions in return. That's one of your ideal goals. That's why some solo laners are better than others, because they have those abilities that can hit both. Left-hand side, though, Trix.
He's in trouble. Chains and Jermain. That's first blood going the way of first fit.
Jermain also still boxing Funballer there. He's going to be able to jump away just barely, but first blood,
Fantastique.
Jermain.
That's the name of the team.
It's been a long day, Tom.
Still, great play.
Thank you all for still joining us if you're at home. I know it's been rough. We've had some issues on Twitch as well as this 5th set, but coming in at 8:13 on a Saturday night.
And that's really what I meant earlier when I said, hey man, you can't separate Jermain and Dardez. They were able to just combine their abilities just so perfectly here. MoGoW avoiding a little bit of Lawbster.
I'm really surprised we didn't see the full commit from QvoFred there. Had his ultimate. I mean, obviously MoGoW would have been able to ult as well, but I think he was close to being in range for Brutalize. The instant Brutalize into the ultimate there, picks him up. The Isis ult on top of that. MoGoW can't escape, and he's also not tanky yet.
Half HP on Dardez this time around, despite landing a couple of chains. And here's the initiation out of Trix Tank. There's the slow and the damage right out of the middle from Funball, able to make it happen. He hits every single one of those shots out of the Desert's Fury. And then Trix Tank just gets the little one tap to get the kill. After that, Bipolar Method going to collapse and invade on the red buff. Well earned.
This is a very devastating duo lane. Guan Yu, his ultimate actually one of the highest damaging physical ultimates in the game. I think it is the highest if you hit every single tick since there's ramp up damage. And then Funball, Desert's Fury. Because these players are slowed, because Dardez is running in a straight line, he can aim everything and just almost 70% to 0 from 2 ultimates alone. QvoFred though, trying to make plays on the right-hand side in the meantime, looking to steal away this blue. I think he's actually looking to get a kill onto MoGoW.
Yeah, it's a 2-on-2 right now. WorldEdit MoGoW against QvoFred and Xaliea. There's the ultimate out of Qvo.
I love it.
And he can't get the quick bite, so he turns around and just starts biting the minions.
Well, no, he did. Well, he tried to at least, and at the very least, he baited out WorldEdit's Relic. That's what you want to do with this Fenrir pick. It's not necessarily about always getting the kill. It's more about just trying to set that up and look for other opportunities in another minute.
That's crazy that he's able to get WorldEdit's Relic without even hitting WorldEdit. He just ultimates and he sits there. That's fun. WorldEdit able to get out of jail. Trix Tank and Funball here just being chased a little bit in their jungle, but it's been pretty much even. Both kills on the board. comes from the duo lane.
Also, that looked a little bit scary at the start with Amaterasu getting pretty heavily bullied out. Xaliea obviously has done this matchup before, but MoGoW's been able to recover nicely. Going to be even in gold. Doesn't have to worry about this. This is, you know, we talked about this Terra having a good matchup against the Amaterasu because she's low pressure in the early game, but that's also good for Xaliea because now Xaliea doesn't have to worry about a warrior bullying him out of lane and stealing his blue buff.
Yeah, I don't think this matchup goes as well for Terra against some of the more aggressive characters in the solo lane. I think he's got to watch out for that one. So the Terra working out so far because she's basically done nothing but ultimate. And that's one of the other things you got to think about when it comes to Bipolar Method, sticking Terra in the solo lane.
Qvo getting aggressive on a Dardez, no ultimate online for him, and he's got a counter ult immediately. QvoFred had his relics up, but doesn't want to waste it, and that might be something he'll regret here in a few seconds.
Yeah, Jermain's going to show up and try to ultimate, not going to hit it, but WorldEdit is going to join the party as well, up into the tree. He's got his choice of characters. It'll be QvoFred, and Trix Tank still in trouble. No ultimate available for the Guan Yu, and nulisa able to put one in her kill column.
QvoFred thinks he's going to be fine, doesn't need to burn his relic against Dardez, who's by himself, but the full rotation from Fantastique was too quick. 4 members in that dual lane, and under 10 seconds there, nothing Qvo can do at that point. Maybe if he purifies the knockup from the Ratatoskr, but without any jump up, he's likely dead anyway, so just saves the cooldown.
That's Bipolar Method just being a little bit sloppy.
Ooh.
Mid lane, Lawbster gets jumped on.
He was there a second ago.
nulisa gets the second kill of her game so far, and very well done for Fantastique to be able to find these kills, but more importantly, they've got to do something with it.
I mean, this is so much better. Game 1, there was nothing they could do. Core versus core, I think Bipolar Method just completely outdrafted them. Now, though, Fantastique understands they can fight, and WorldEdit doing a really good job right now. 1-0 and 2, a part of 3 of the 4 kills online. Also, Dardez setting up so much with this change, although he is a little bit behind in farm because of it when you look at that experience level.
Again, just so much happier with Fantastique's lineup with WorldEdit on the Ratatoskr. Whatever the slash line was for WorldEdit last game, I think he wound up with 3 kills and a couple of assists. They were all after the fact. They were all straggler kills. They were all chase downs. Fantastique now are getting, WorldEdit is now getting the kills that start the sentence rather than punctuated, and that's going to allow Fantastique to actually make a play here.
Fantastique up about 900 to 1,000 gold and still trying to set stuff up. QvoFred there. Immediate ult from Dardez once again. This time he purifies, and Dardez is by himself, surrounded by 4, completely body blocked thanks to the help of that pillar. And a little bit too aggressive there, trying to go onto Qvo, I think.
And that's what we've seen. That's what we saw to Bipolar Method for their last 4 deaths, essentially. So, Fantastique.
Man, look at that damage.
A little bit.
I mean, once that Helm and Shoes of the Magi are online, Terra is doing some serious poke to MoGoW. Level 10, though, obviously going to be able to heal up. The main issue is just he hasn't been able to go back and spend his gold. You can see he's still only sitting on boots 8 minutes in.
Man, we can't say terrible. Can't say terrifying. There's too many words that I have to cross out of my list here when we've got this Terra in the game.
Terrific.
That's pushing it, but sure, yeah. I don't like that word anyway. I should use that word a little bit more. The problem was Fantastique came
Tiramisu.
out. Fantastic. Stop that. Fantastic was a word that I used a little bit too much, and Fantastique has chased it out of me. So maybe that'll help out as well.
Chef Lubu's got to make some tiramisu now. If you're listening, Lubu, this is your job. He did Vulcan meatballs.
See,
Watched his video the other day.
I was raised by an Italian family, so I only know that as tiramisu. There's no tiramisu. There's no R.
Tiramisu, dude.
Tiramisu.
It's tiramisu now. Xaliea. Wonder if he's ever had tiramisu. Anyways, 4-2 in kills. Fantastic. This is a much better fight for them, and they could easily bait this. Dardez, he does have a shell online, but the team a little bit scared. I think they were just looking for the sneak there, not to bait a fight.
Yeah, Fantastique. They keep looking towards this Gold Fury. They want to catch Trix Tank out by himself. Bipolar Method not going to take the bait, though. Lawbster always holding hands with his support when they want to go check out that Gold Fury. So Fantastique are going to get the easy pick that they're searching for.
Oh, Dardez. Could be trouble. He keeps trying to set up these kills in the jungle, especially onto QvoFred. You can see very deep ward there for them as aggression onto Jermain, who's going to get chased down, barely gets airstrike off. And that's one of the strengths of Fenrir into this lineup, both against WorldEdit's Ratatoskr as well as Jermain's Jing. They have movement abilities, but they both are short range, and so will get chased by Brutalize.
At the end of the day, though, losing your Jing ultimate isn't really that big of a deal, and already back to the fight. So a little bit here and there, but much ado about nothing if you ask me. QvoFred doesn't use his ultimate. Jermain back to the fight. Not a big deal.
I think if Fantastique want to force something, it is. Right now, dead even in gold and experience, though. Fantastique being very aggressive in the early game, but they've kind of slowed down the pace right now, playing a little bit more passively. Void Shield is online for Qvo. WorldEdit still going to be working on it. I think he has the gold, maybe just 100 or 2 short. And Xalia's just been farming up. I think both these teams are looking more for the mid-game team fights, late-game team fights. No one really wants to take a risk this early on.
With that in mind, Bipolar Method has the Isis Fenrir combination. They've sort of missed their window to really capitalize off of that. They lost the early game, I'll say, able to make it back as we, sort of make it towards mid, but Fantastique had an upper hand for a while. QvoFred looking to change that. He used his ultimate and purification as Dardez is able to respond with his Ares ultimate. So no real tricks for the dog left. Fantastique might look for Qvo.
I like this overall play. Nulisa, though, could get aggressive on Lawbster, playing a little bit passively. Raijin doing so much damage, and actually might find the solo kill.
There it is. By herself, taking out Lawbster in the mid lane. Nulisa really coming into herself this week. I think that we saw, she's a rookie. A little bit wonky in the early weeks, but we're really starting to see the true colors of Nulisa here in week number 3. Trix Tank trying to get aggressive, gets chained up, but finds a stun onto Dardez. Still, ton of damage going the other way. Double stun coming out from the dog, but again, no ultimate. Qvo used it in the left lane. Fantastique, unable to find the tower.
Trix just isn't tanky. He's gone into the double starter item build. Started with Bluestone in the lane, then switched over to Watcher's Gift after boots, but he has no protections. We see this sometimes with Mark of the Vanguard specifically. That's really the only item you see when people go for the double starter items, but Trixtank wanting a little bit more gold.
Gold Fury being aggressed on and taken by Fantastique very quickly. Funball isolating WorldEdit on the left. Jermain chased out up top as well. QvoFred sprint popped by the guys on Bipolar Method, but here comes MoGoW and the squad. A little bit of separation thanks to Terra. Jermain safe, Nulisa's safe, MoGoW safe. Dardez on the other hand, not the same. WorldEdit able to dash through, and a Sanctuary saves him at the last possible moment.
Stun just off the mark. QvoFred still very deep. Just going to be looking to steal away jungle. He knows one hit on WorldEdit, but he doesn't know exactly where he's at. He's actually rotated on the right-hand side, getting those back harpies. And QvoFred just going to stake these camps instead as the rest of his team sieges up this tower, and WorldEdit still hanging around.
And that's the power of Guan, just able to heal and deal and just walk up lanes. Big deal coming out from Bipolar Method. QvoFred's ultimate is available. So is Nulisa's. Damage barreling down the mid lane. And Dardez going to get the yank onto Xaliea. Still, trouble for the Terra, but an excellent impale. Had a Funball will save his teammates and shut down Nulisa with help from Trix Tank's Bluestone.
Overall, still going the way of Fantastique, I think. They were able to pick up a couple kills on the backside. They did lose their tower. Can we actually go to the graphs? And this might have just been completely neutralized, and it was. So you can see the slightest of edges for Fantastique in that they changed what the gold was by about 200.
It's like
in the
4
lead.
wards. Good for you guys. But a big play from Fantastique. And in all honesty, I really believe this. When you're a bottom end team fighting against a powerful powerhouse like Bipolar Method, you have to count. Even though you're not mathematically in the lead right now, being able to get the play, the solo kill onto Lawbster, into some big play, and then a Gold Fury, you have to take that to the bank. Momentum is real. That means something for Fantastique. Looking to make the play on a Funball.
And the knockup's going to be good. Funball already using his jump. Just going to be a clean executed gank from Fantastique. Funball hadn't been pressured at all this game, so I think he felt a little bit more confident than he would typically against a Ratatoskr. WorldEdit hadn't taken a single trip over to his lane. He's been able to box Jermain without anyone else really interfering there, and this time just still thinking that's going to happen. A little bit overextended without any ward coverage on the left-hand side.
QvoFred battling it out against Nulisa. Ultimate is good, and Nulisa's going to be in trouble. QvoFred finds a solo kill onto the mid-mage. Down she goes, 3-2-2, and QvoFred winds up with his second kill of the game.
Qvo still looping around. You could see Trix Tank hurting everyone into their tower, but Trix going to back off, which means Qvo backs off as well. This game's been a little bit awkward with these kills. A lot of times it's more, okay, I'll see someone get picked off, but there's been a lot of people a little bit overextended, just Surprised to see people in their lane and they die. Nulisa falling there after getting the 1v1 against Lawbster. Obviously left-hand side WorldEdit just kind of picks off Funballer, who's pushed up with 0 ward coverage. And then a little bit after that, just a couple more kills.
A lot of very relaxed game, I guess you would say. There's not a lot of attention being paid, in all honesty, here.
Everyone's just even right now. No one's really ahead. You can see items being completed, actually stacking for both mid laners. Lawbster working on his, his Warlock Sash, although going to be finishing it very late. Meanwhile, Nulisa has started a book, so starting to work on those stacks.
And that fits her two very different characters. Raijin going to be looking for a ton of damage, hence the Book of Thoth. And Isis tends to be a more control-oriented character than a burst damage mage in the late game, so the Warlock Sash will allow Lawbster to stay alive just a little bit.
It's also the compositions. Obviously, Bipolar Method have really good dive potential, but as an Isis, you gotta be worried about WorldEdit.
For sure. I mean, he's been really mobile. There's a sprint out of Fantastique, trying to make the play on the QvoFred, forcing out the ultimate right there, and up in the sky goes the Ratatoskr as well. Xaliea makes the rotation to join, thinking about his target is going to be WorldEdit for a second time, and they're going to chase down Xaliea in the jungle. No one can catch up. Fantastique lose their opportunity until Dardez gets the pull onto Trix Tank. Knockup will finish it, and there's the last hit after the heal. Dardez gets credit with the dot.
Funballer comes in by himself around the back, but does buy enough time for Qvo still to push forward. Has to jump away as WorldEdit turns on him with the help of MoGoW, and now he's going to take a trip back to the base as Fantastique start to siege. Dardez finds a chain on a Funballer. How does he get out of this one? Has both relics.
Nice
Sanctuary's going to be good for now, but still has to burn his purification to jump away. Still going to get chased down. Jermain up in the sky, but he plays it safe.
That is the first time.
Someone else is playing on Jermain's account. That's what I'm saying.
I was going to say, that is the first time a commentator has ever said Jermain plays it safe. And I was legitimately surprised that Jermain
I
did
thought
not.
he was I was just like waiting. Could it go in? Just turns around. I mean, he really shouldn't have gone aggressive there. Even if he finds the kill on Funball,
no,
he would have been 100% dead. Great choice by him. Going to go straight to the Gold Fury. But Bipolar Method, they snuck a Fire Giant against Dignitas. They look like they might be able to sneak this one against Fantastique.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, good job for Fantastique. They go ahead and they pick up the Gold Fury.
Shoutouts to Trix. If this is completed, which it looks like it is, Trix Tank is there in mid, just showing presence like, hey guys, we're not doing Fire Giant. You can even kill me. I don't even care.
25%.
Isis ult, gonna guarantee it. No idea right now. Trix Tank is getting aggressed on as well. Finally, Nulisa realizes what's going on, but it's already been completed.
Trix Tank is the target. Fantastique really want to, need to. Somebody's looking for a kill. Trix Tank going to be forced out onto the ultimate, but Bipolar Method now.
Great move.
Clean and clear. They're down 2K gold, but they're up the Fire Giant. That's more than enough.
And so how that happens, right, is Fantastique pressure out Bipolar Method in the mid. They get that tier 1, also poke Funballer out, and they immediately go to the Gold Fury because they didn't get any kills. They obviously poked people out, but 0 kills to their name. The issue is they took a little bit too long to decide to go for the Gold Fury. They hung around debating if they wanted to siege the tier 2. By the time they finally decided, they all walked there together right in front of Bipolar Method's face. The people who had been poked out were able to heal up. They go straight to the Fire Giant where no wards have been placed because it's only 17 minutes in.
Just excellent shot calling from Bipolar Method. And like you said, we saw them do this earlier this split.
I mean, earlier today, they did it against Dignitas. I think it was game 1, not game 2, but just Dignitas caught off guard. And that time, it wasn't even they were doing Gold Fury. They were just kind of on the left side of the map.
And that's what I like at a Bipolar Method. We mentioned that they used to have their own sort of methods. They had their own sort of idea of what meta was, both in god selection and team and gameplay. Here, they've come a little bit closer to the meta. I say in a game that Xaliea brings Terra into the solo lane, but they're able to make their gameplay still Bipolar Method brand.
I mean, they're just a little bit bipolar, right? Sometimes they'll be playing standard comps, then they're like, hey man, let's throw the Terra over in the soul lane, and it's just, it works for them. Xaliea hasn't even done anything outside of ult this game, which is something you typically don't see from a soul lane. You see that from Hunter positions, where you have these global ults. QvoFred, though, in the meantime, looking for a kill on Nulisa. Brutalized, just shy. Only got the first tick of damage off.
And global ults in the solo lane, honestly, one of my favorites is the fact when you're able to get that Neath ult out of the right lane or stuff like that. Love to see that sort of interaction with the global ultimates sitting in the solo lane. Bipolar Method, however, in the long lane this time around, forcing up on the left-hand side. Jermain and Dardez starting it off. Dardez pulls the trigger and gonna get nobody, but WorldEdit up in the sky forces Trix Tank in the ult, waiting it out, looking for a knock-up.
WorldEdit just maximizing this time right now in the tree.
Nope.
But Fantastique not really in a spot against this Fire Giant to be the aggressors. They'd rather have Bipolar Method over aggress. They also don't have their solo laner right now. Still no teleport.
Terra joined, but MoGoW, like you said, no TP up. Bipolar Method taking the power play. Lawbster gets the kill at first. Still a 5-on-4, now a 5-on-3. MoGoW gonna join the party eventually. Tower goes down. Now it's again a 5-on-4.
And this double heal comp, as well as a couple meditations to their name. Trix Tank and Xaliea combining massively right now. Even Ice is getting in on it. You can see 9,000 for Trix, 6K for Xaliea, and another 2K from the ults from Lawbster.
And not a curse in sight across the way on Fantastique. Left-hand Phoenix goes down, Guan Yu heal goes out. All the while, Bipolar Method fighting on the heal field out of Terra. Fantastique, no curse, no pestilence.
There's really not that much anti-healing in their composition. The main thing is, like, obviously there's no big heals outside of the meditation online for Bipolar Method. It's just a ton of, like, just slow regen, but it adds up significantly in team fights and even out of team fights. Fantastique, when they fight, they need to all in commit. They cannot take a poke war against this.
Not at all. I mean, Guan, Fire, Terra, everybody can heal. Fantastique have nothing to deal with it. QvoFred jumps right on the backside, getting 2 with the stun and 1 with the ultimate forced out. And again, almost full HP.
No, only airstrike right now up for Fantastique when you're looking at the ultimates. Meanwhile, Guan still has cavalry charge, going to be a much better engage tool. Although the ult's starting to come back up. WorldEdit Dardez have theirs online. They could look to chase Bipolar Method outside of the right side. BM, though, playing it safe. They got the Phoenix, they got the tower. Let's just take out all the free objectives.
Great use of the Fire Giant. Fantastique now.
QvoFred
3 players grabbed, and Xalia's going to get yanked. There's the damage out of Fantastique. Nowhere near enough to take down the solo lane Terra. Trix Tank in trouble as WorldEdit lands on top. MoGoW gets silenced out. Nice play from the mid lane, but MoGoW still in trouble.
Too much healing in CC online for Bipolar Method, as well as the Impale and Hammer, or it's not Hammer, the Pillar from Funballer doing a great job there, making it very hard for Fantastique to keep chasing. I think he knows we're talking about him, just jumping in place there.
I mean, we've spoken a lot today about player attitudes and players that like to. Funball is a showman, absolutely.
I love what Fantastique did there, taking that fight. We're seeing it right now, golden hand, 2,400, 2,500, 3,300. So despite Bipolar Method having a 2K gold lead, they actually had most of their gold lead still in their pockets. And Fantastique had better items. Obviously, they don't have the Fire Giant, but they knew they could take that fight when it came to that gold lead. It was not only negated, they actually had the edge in it.
I mean, Fantastique had, keep in mind, Fantastique had the lead of this game up until about 17 minutes when Bipolar Method were able to take the Fire Giant. And even, you know, if you don't count the Fire Giant's weight in gold, which you certainly should, Fantastique were still up 2K at that point. So Bipolar Method, they take an entire left lane and 2 towers in the mid and are only 2K up.
Bipolar Method they've played 4 games today now, and 3 of them, it never felt like they had the lead until they won the game. They were just like, okay, they're still doing their thing, but it's just been objectively that they've been able to dominate their games today, both against Dignitas and now against Fantastique.
Right side tower goes for free. Fantastique don't even want to fight into it, and I wonder why. I think that's an interesting forfeiture. Instead, here comes the jump in. QvoFred, everybody collapse onto Jermain. Dardez grabbed 2 with the ultimate. 1 pulled. QvoFred's in trouble along with Xaliea. 3, 4 players underneath the tower. Tier 2 still alive and well. QvoFred gets 1. Funball gets 2. That's continuing on down the right side. Nulisa's Sanctuary is over, and Bipolar Method are chasing the kills. Triple kill for Funball as the tower just now gets taken out. So Bipolar Method can look towards the Phoenix.
That's probably going to be game. Almost everyone dying at the same time. Instead, Bipolar Method wanting to play it safe. Jermain getting stunned out there. Also, agility blocked by the pillar, I'm pretty sure.
Hot play.
They don't even need this Phoenix. I don't know if they realize it or not, but they're going to take it anyway. No one going to be spawning here for another 12 seconds. Bipolar Method, close out the day. F6, Fantastique. Don't even want to wait the extra 10. And 6 points. Pretty sure that puts them in first now. Bipolar Method, man, they're looking great.
They're looking really fantastic. All the way up on top, 16 points as they earn another 3 against Fantastique here. You can see these was Sanguine, etc. Those were yesterday's games. Keep in mind, Bipolar Method versus Fantastique today was rescheduled from yesterday.
And I'm pretty sure everyone on the left side won today.
Yeah,
even on the other one with the list of the games today, everyone on the left side actually coming out on top. But great showing from them overall. You could see, hopefully your FP was positioned left today. Your votes.
Energy, Cringe Crew, HFM, Bipolar Method with 2 sweeps for the last ones in that conversation. Fantastic play out of a lot of teams. And you know what? What made this day fun was a lot of the teams that wound up getting swept also had a fight.
Yes, I'm going to go back to Sanguine specifically because they had really good games against HFM, abusing Panda-Like's over-aggression. Obviously, they weren't able to close out, but Nika on Twitter said that his team's making a lot of improvements, and by the time the LAN rolls around, they're going to be ready.
Yeah, a lot of teams looked like they were steadily improving. This is week 3 out of 4 online weeks, so getting very, very, very close to that LAN period. We're going to be joined here by the support from Bipolar Method. It's Trix Tank. Congratulations on your 4 wins today, buddy. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good and like a little bit of mixed feelings right now.
Okay.
I think we're happy with the 4-0, of course, but I really think that we had not our best performance, but we've had a lot of stuff to think about the last week, so there's been like other stuff on our minds, but I think we're just happy about the 4-0.
I'll pose the question. Why do you feel like that wasn't your best performance? I thought you guys looked great. What stuck out to you?
I mean, a lot of our objective call was really good, but like, for example, against Dignitas in the first game when we got like really far ahead, there was like Suntouch almost got them twice, and for us, that's just too close and too risky, and when those situations happen, we just feel like it's unclean and it's not like to the standard that we want to play. And I didn't have my best performance either, so that kind of sucked.
Who was making the objective calls today? Because they were. I know you're typically the main shot caller. Was that you, or is that someone else giving you the
around
suggestion?
the GoFred? The big one, the fire giant here was Fred, mainly because Lawbster saw them everybody going into the GoFred, and he took their aggro on the start, and then Fred just said, "Well, we could do fire giant easy. I can tank it."
I want you to. Okay, keep going.
Yeah.
I want you to talk to me about Fred though after this.
I mean, Fred have definitely developed like in this split. I think, I don't know. It's like he got more motivated. I don't know if it's because we're near to Worlds or what it is, but he really believes we have a big chance as Worlds, so he just want to try to get our consistency up now. So I don't know. He's just been really motivated, and that's why I think he's been playing so good lately.
Talk to me about your team heading into the LANs, because if you guys 2-0 in your final week, you will be first seed, which has not happened in quite some time. How confident are you?
I mean, we're not confident at all when it comes to Energy, especially because they're the ones we're contesting right now. But I would more say we get the first seed because they kind of screwed up, and not really the fact that we played like our strongest split. So I can only thank Energy for the first seed, obviously, but I'm confident going into that, but still, Energy is still such a consistent team, and it's still the #1, so we're definitely scared still.
Cautiously confident and pleasantly political. Thanks, Trix Tank. I want to ask you a little bit. So, you guys just had some issues. What's the future of Bipolar Method? What are you guys looking for as far as that's concerned?
Well, we've been really happy with the team, like especially me and Funballer. We've had like a really good time this split, and we've been playing really well. But we are definitely sticking together for as long time as we want because we're really good friends in real life as well, and the fact that we can work in game as well is really important for us. So that's really nice. But we're right now just looking for a new org, and hopefully someone will welcome in with warm arms, and we can sort of like relax and focus on the game more than everything else that's been going on.
Awesome.
Perfect. I mean, certainly sounds like things are looking up for you.
Definitely.
As far as the rest of the split is concerned, I wish you guys the best of luck. Any shout-outs or hollers that you want to give to the friends at home?
I would like to give a shout-out to Lawbster for just like taking care of the situation and really just like not yeah, just being the leader of the situation and really dealing with all the problems, mostly himself, so we could focus more on the game. The rest of the team. Also, shout out to Simstar for really helping us with the situation. And yeah, also give a little shout out to my streams since I started streaming
There you go.
consistently now. So I really want to get that up rolling. So if I would love to see some new faces and some support in my stream. It's twitch.tv/Trixtank.
What a surprise!
What a surprise! I think you need to give it. I think you need to give a shout out to QvoFred as well for that Susano game against Dig.
Of course, my good friend QvoFred. I mean, he's sitting next to me right now.
Okay.
We're having LAN, so we're chilling.
That's
and,
awesome.
we played the game next to each other, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, shout out to QvoFred as well for his good plays.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Trick. Always a pleasure talking to Trixtank, man. He's one of the better guys in the scene. Just a phenomenal player, good mind. And I think they have a pretty good focus. You know, they're like thanking energy. Very disappointed. They 4-0'd, but they're very disappointed in their own performance. That's the shot. That's the signs of a really good team. If they're like, yeah, we won, but it was way too risky.
Exactly, and you heard them a little bit more focused. He might have been talking about Qvo, but I think it has to do with the entire team. Just everybody driven and ready to make it to Worlds. North America, same situation for these guys. Enemy are going to start off by taking on Envious. Luminosity will deal with the Clowns after that. And then Soar will bring their best against Allegiance.
Gonna close out there with Eager versus Anhur. I'm definitely looking for that first set tomorrow. Enemy versus Envy. Envy kind of on the open up a little bit. We're seeing the shine from them. Polar Bear Mike and Skeleton specifically on the interview. Polar Bear Mike saying, we really weren't performing in our first couple games. Now it feels like we're bringing the level we bring in scrims onto the main stage. And Enemy, right? There was a lot of things about, hey man, you know, Panda Cat's gone. You know, it's just not the same. Panda Cat comes back, and to be fair, he hasn't had that much practice time, but it really seems like there's some other problems there. One team at the top going to the bottom, one team at the bottom going to the top.
I'm with you. That's the exact match I want to see. I love watching Polar Bear Mike play just out of enjoyment. I think it's a lot of fun watching him really command his troops. And then you got to take a look at Pain Devian and see, you know, Panda Cat working his way back in the lineup. When people say like, oh, the issue was Panda Cat was out, it's not just the fact that it's a different hunter. It's all the ripple effects, right?
Yes.
How does Shattered play because of that? How does Pain Devian play because of that?
Do they have to switch their play styles? All of that.
Exactly. So with another week in the bank, Enemy might look a little bit cleaner. We'll find out. Last season, Enemy wound up being the runner-up, number 2 at the finals of Worlds. Here, they're going to be shooting for number 1. You don't have to be anywhere in the conversation to actually make it, though. hi-rezexpo.com is where you can get tickets. You can buy them just with good old-fashioned money. I'll get in.
Can I buy
Gems?
them with tiramisu and puns?
You can buy the. Honestly, you could probably, if you bring enough tiramisu to me and Pecky's, I'm sure we'll let you in. But you have to leave the puns on the door. Absolutely.
I'm really not. I'm not even the pun person. That's more you.
I
just
the
like
puns.
throwing in them sometimes.
I hate the puns.
I'm
They
pretty
just
sure
come
Pecky's
naturally.
only accepts pizza rolls. Make sure to get your pizza rolls in chat. Maybe Pecky's will drop you a code for a ticket. It's not actually going to happen, by the way. But you can try. Get your spam on.
You can absolutely try whatever you want. Tomorrow, we'll be here bright and early. Well, depending on where you're at. 1 p.m. Georgia Standard Time, hi-rez Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time. We'll catch you tomorrow, folks. It's been a wonderful afternoon. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow.